start the new Sefer Bemidbar, just finished Vayikra. It's another opportunity to restart and recharge, and again come learning every parsha as the cycle of the year goes further and further. In every parsha we meet, we find new gems and new insights into every one of the parshas of the parshas of the Torah. In this parsha we read about the counting of Klal Yisrael, and we also read about the counting of Shevet Levi. And the Torah repeats over and over again, 3 times in our parsha alone, that Shevet Levi was counted separately from the rest of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael was counted in one way, and Levi was counted a different way. The age was different, which age they started counting the Yidden. And the Torah repeats, Achas Matei Levi loy tifked. Do not count Shevet Levi with Bnei Yisrael. V'alavim l'matei v'yisum loy tifkedu. 3 times the Torah repeats that the Levi was counted separately. Why was Levi counted separately? Levi wasn't counted from 20 years. Levi was counted from 30 years, from a month old and from a month old until 50, not from 20 to 60. Everything was different about the counting of Shevet Levi from everybody else. Chaim Shmulevitz Sichos Musar brings a medrash, where the medrash says a very scary insight into why Shevet Levi was counted separately. Soon says the medrash, Chazal knew, Hashem knew, Tzafak HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rashi brings the medrash. So the Hashem saw that soon there's going to be the sin of the Meraglim, the Chet HaMeraglim. And Shevet Levi is not going to take part in that. Not only they're not going to take part, but Hashem had to Kaviyachol separate them from Klal Yisrael so that they should not be punished together with the rest of Klal Yisrael. Understand? If they did the sin, then they're part of the sin. If they didn't do the sin, they're not. Why do they have to separate them from the rest of Klal Yisrael, count them differently, count them at different ages, so that they shouldn't get punished? They won't get punished because they didn't do the sin. Furthermore, says Chaim Shmulevitz, we see the Torah says, Yeshua ben Nun v'kol ben Yifuna chayu min ha'anoshim eilim, Parsha Shlach says, they lived, Yeshua ben Nun and Kol, they were the tzaddikim, they were the 2 spies that didn't come with the bad information from the rest of the 10 spies. So of course they're going to live. Why should they get punished? Why should they get punished if they didn't do any sin? Says Chaim Shmulevitz, we see from here a big yesod, a big rule, that a person is judged according to the community which he is in. The community of Klal Yisrael sinned in the Meraglim, and for sure the Meraglim themselves. If Shevet Levi would be counted together with Klal Yisrael, then a little while later when they're going to sin, the Meraglim are going to sin, and all of Klal Yisrael is crying. Shevet Levi is not crying. They say everything's great. Don't cry. But still, there's a danger that they're going to get punished like everybody else. We have to separate them. We have to really separate them away from the rest of Klal Yisrael. Yeshua ben Nun and Kol Yifuna were in a terrible danger. They can get caught up in the punishment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu meets out to all the other Meraglim because they were part of the group. We find this also by Makas B'cheres. We know that the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you have to put the blood on the doorpost, don't go out of your house, it's a terrible danger. And we know the famous words of the Chazal, Kevin Shenitan, Rishus L'mashchis, the destroyer, the destroying angels, the Malach HaMavos had Rishus to go and destroy all the firstborn Egyptians. There's a danger, maybe he'll catch a Jewish firstborn also. We got to protect them, we have to protect them. Why? Because they're in Mitzrayim, they're all together, it's all one big community of firstborn that are in danger now. We have to separate them. This is Chas v'Shalom when things are not good. When things are good, then the opposite, Adarabah. A person has to try and connect himself as much as possible to the community, not separate himself from the community. Like we know, all of our tefillas are written b'lashon rabim. Rifa'enu Hashem. Salach lanu avinu, hashivenu avinu, baruch aleinu, Hashanah. Everything is us, we. Please give us. Please, we ask. Why we? Why me? Why not me? Because a person's tefillah will be accepted if it's part of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael's tefillah. It's not that we have 5 people, 6 people, now we have 10 people. It's we have a group. We have a group of Klal Yisrael. There's a group for better and for worse. Chas v'Shalom, when it's worse, but when it's better, it's gevaldik. A person not only has the right to not always has the right to daven for himself. Maybe Hashem doesn't want to give him what he's asking for. But when he's asking as part of Klal Yisrael, Hashem gives Klal Yisrael. Hashem loves it when the group is bigger. The more people are part of that group, it's a different group. It's not 5 people, now it's 10, now it's 20, now it's 30. It's a group, it's a bigger group, and a bigger group. Like the Ran says, a person who becomes part of the group gets judged by the group. And a person, when he's davening, he should be part of the group. Unfortunately, we find very often, in many cities, unfortunately here in Moscow, happens very often, people become frum, they start keeping Torah mitzvahs, but they live far away from the community. They're living somewhere out without neighbors, without Jewish neighbors, without Jewish interaction. And that's a terrible danger for the family. A person has to be part of a community. Not only he has to keep Shabbos, keep Kashrus, he has to keep the mitzvahs. That's very important. But it's no less important to be part of the community. How are the children going to grow up as healthy Jews if they're interacting only with their non-Jewish neighbors, their non-Jewish schools? It's not enough that the family becomes religious and they start keeping the Torah and they start keeping Shabbos. They have to be living the life, the community life of a Jew. Jews always historically lived within communities, always together with other Jews. What better, says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, also preparation for Shavuos, which is coming next week, that a person should always connect himself with all of Klal Yisrael, like it says in the Torah, Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged Har, and Yisrael rested near the mountain. It doesn't say they rested, it said he rested, because it was like one person, they became together in Achdus. When Klal Yisrael is Ba'achdus, when everybody's together, and everybody's worrying about each other, everybody's caring for each other, everybody's doing what they can for each other, and Hashem says, this is the nation that I want to give the Torah to. Vayichan Yisrael, when the Jews come together as a nation, as a community, then Hashem says, this is the community, this is the type of group that I want to give the Torah to. We should all be zeicha in the coming Yom Tov of Shavuos to become closer to one another, to be able to care properly for one another, to think always about one another, and to be able to be zeicha to the great gift of the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us, the Matan Torah. And we should be zeicha to Matan Torah, we should be zeicha to learn the Torah, to accept the Torah, to understand the Torah, and to understand, delve into the depths of the secrets of the Heilige Torah. Wishing everybody, all of you, all of our friends, you and your families, and all of us together for a beautiful Yom Tov of Shavuos, and for a beautiful and a successful Matan Torah. Good Shabbos and good Yom Tov.